Almost 3,000 students unable to attend first day of school. Father and son charged in graft probe. Thanks for choosing the evening edition of News on 2. You with me, Renee Fong. A total 379 people from Mersing and Kota Tinggi in Johor were evacuated to 9 relief centres as of this afternoon, compared to 373 this morning after floods inundated their homes since yesterday. State Health, Environment, Education and Information Committee Chairman Dato' Ayub Rahmat said 7 relief centres were operating in Mersing, whereas there were 2 relief centres in Kota Tinggi. Dato' Ayub said the flood-affected areas in Mersing were Taman Nakhoda, Air Papan, Kampung Tanjung Genting, Kampung Tenggelu Besar, Kampung Kelantan, Kampung Air Tawar, Kampung Pengkalan, Kampung Air Merah and Kampung Jemari. Meanwhile, the affected areas in Kota Tinggi were Kampung Bukit Raja and Kampung Sungai Buntu. The floods in the 2 districts are being continuously monitored by numerous agencies including the Civil Defence Force, Royal Malaysian Police, Village Development and Security Committees and the Drainage and Irrigation Department. "936 people have been evacuated to flood relief centres in Kuantan and Rompin in Pahang as of 12 p.m. today. Pahang Civil Defence Force Director Colonel P.A. Zainal Yusof said 492 people were evacuated to 7 relief centres in Kuantan, whereas there were 5 relief centres in Rompin housing 444 people. In Kuantan, the 7 relief centres were in SK Fakir Abdul Samad, SMK Gudang Rasau, SMK Sungai Lembing, the Sri Damai Community Hall, Pandan Multipurpose Hall, Kampung Kurnia Drainage and Irrigation Department Hall and the Kampung Paya Bungor Community Hall. The 5 relief centres in Rompin were in the Teluk Gading Community Hall in Tanjung Gemuk, Kampung Setajam, Kampung Pianggu Community Hall, Sekolah Menengah Pontian Jaya, the Sepayang Community Hall. According to the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, the other flood-affected states currently are Johor with 373 evacuees, Sabah with 288 and Terengganu with 252 evacuees as of 4 p.m. today, bringing the total to 1,919 evacuees nationwide. While other schools nationwide began their 2018 school sessions today, 11 schools in Pahang have been forced to close due to floods. According to State Deputy Director of Education, Dr. Tajuddin Muhammad Yunus, 9 of the schools are located in Kuantan, while the other 2 are in Pekan and Jerantut, respectively. The 9 schools in Kuantan forced to close until further notice are SMK Sungai Lembing, SJKC Sungai Lembing, SK Nadak, SK Sungai Lembing, SK Sungai Mas, SJKC Panching, SJKT Kuala Reman, SK Panching and SK Bukit Kuin. The other 2 are SK Aceh in Pekan and SK Gintong in Jerantut. All the affected schools were closed either because they were inundated with floods or access road to the locations were impassable to vehicles. Meanwhile, 46 schools in Kuantan have been identified as possible flood shelters in case the situation worsens. Meanwhile, in Sarawak, some 330 pupils from 3 primary schools could not attend the first day of the school session following massive floodings. The State Disaster Management Committee, JPBNS, in a statement issued at 8 this morning, confirmed the 3 schools affected were SK Umat Sambub in Belaga and SK Beliau Ahad and SK Rumah Isau, both located in Subis. SK Umat Sambub has 158 registered pupils with 15 teachers and 9 administrative staff. JPBNS said the roads leading to SK Beliau Ahad, which has 117 pupils, 13 teachers and 3 administrative staffs, are impassable and dangerous to traffic as flood waters continue to rise by the minute. SK Rumah Isau, which has 55 pupils, 10 teachers and 2 staffs, is also closed as the roads in surrounding areas are still flooded. A total of 2,834 students from 21 schools nationwide were unable to attend the first day of the 2018 academic year today due to floods. According to Deputy Education Minister Datuk P. Kamalanathan, the schools affected by the worsening flood situation included 20 primary schools and 1 secondary school. The Deputy Minister added that the schools affected were 11 in Pahang, 3 in Kelantan, Sarawak and Terengganu respectively, and 1 in Johor. Speaking during a visit to SJKT Rumbia Alor Gajah Melaka, Datuk P. Kamalanathan advised parents to obtain the latest information regarding school closure only through proper channels and to not rely on information circulating on social media.
Kalau ada apa-apa penangguhan akan diumumkan oleh Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri masing-masing tertakluk kepada keadaan semasa di kawasan tersebut. Oleh demikian saya cadangkan kepada ibu bapa agar berurusan dengan pihak pengurusan sekolah. Jangan mengambil maklumat-maklumat yang diedarkan, yang ditularkan dalam WhatsApp atau social media.
He assured the public that the ministry was working closely with state security councils and education departments to monitor the flood situation. The schools will be reopened once the water level recedes and replacement classes will be held for schools affected by the flood should it be necessary. It's the first day of school for 169,245 students in 475 schools around Negeri Sembilan today. Deputy Education Minister Datuk Chong Sin Woon said a total of 73,898 were secondary school students, while 95,447 were primary school students. Datuk Chong said the number of teachers in the state is sufficient. He added that the ministry would address the situation should there be any shortage of teachers.
Guru untuk Negeri Sembilan masih lagi cukup. Kita ada lagi posting untuk graduate daripada IPGM yang akan mula interview oleh SPP bermula Januari ini. Dan kita jangkakan posting untuk guru-guru yang baru ini akan dapat dilaksanakan pada bulan Mac 2017. Dan sekiranya ada kekurangan di sekolah-sekolah akan diisi selewat-lewatnya pada Mac 2018.
Datuk Chong said this during his visit to Sekolah Kebangsaan King George V in Ampangan, Seremban, Negeri Sembilan. He was also joined by Negeri Sembilan Education Department Director Karudin Ghazali. In Labuan, a total of 15,517 students started their 2018 academic year in 27 schools. Of that number, 1,693 registered in Year 1, while 1,196 entered Form 1. Labuan Education Department Director Raizin Saidin said despite the rising number of students, the schools were still able to accommodate all of them.
Peningkatan dalam bilangan jumlah pelajar sekolah-sekolah menengah di Labuan ini dan juga sekolah rendah merupakan satu petanda bahawa satu cabaran guru-guru bagi memastikan bahawa satu pendekatan yang lebih komprehensif dapat digunakan bagi menangani jumlah murid yang ramai ini.
Meanwhile, Year 1 students expressed their excitement to start schooling as they were eager to learn new things and make new friends.
Syuk sekolah.
Kenapa suka sekolah?
Boleh belajar.
Besar mau jadi apa?
Mau jadi cikgu.
Saya janji akan belajar sungguh-sungguh. Saya mau buat mama, bapak saya gembira.
A father and son duo, both former senior officers with the Melaka Industrial Skills Development Centre, MISDEC, was slapped with 84 criminal breach of trust CBT charges involving 4.58 million ringgit. The duo, former executive director Zamrud Mansour, 77, and his son, a manager, Hazizul Zamrud, 44, claimed trial to the charges before Judge Hakim Norma Ismail. Zamrud is facing 42 charges for allegedly abusing his executive powers and transferring MISDEC's money to his own company, MISDEC Resources, in Ran Berhad's account between March 2014 and June 2015. Meanwhile, Hazizul also faces 42 charges for aiding and abetting in his father's CBT acts. The duo are being charged under Section 409 of the Penal Code, which carries a maximum 20-year prison sentence with caning and a fine. MACC Deputy Public Prosecutor Irwan Shah Abdul Samad submitted 500,000 ringgit as the bail amount. Defence lawyer Azrul Zulkifli Stork appealed for the amount to be reduced given that Zamrud was suffering from a heart ailment and chronic asthma. Judge Norma then reduced the bail amount to 250,000 ringgit with one surety each and set February 2nd for case mention. 3 young friends drowned while swimming in Sungai Pedas, Kampung Sungai Merbau 9 in Rembau Negeri Sembilan. State Fire and Rescue Department Director Nur Azam Kamil said Muhammad Iqmal Haziq Muhammad Nozili, 12, Muhammad Shafiq Rosli and Muhammad Alias M. Sadri, both 15, were believed to have drowned after being swept away by strong currents around 7 p.m. on Monday. According to Nur Azam, a rescue team comprising members from the department, RELA, the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency and police found the body of Muhammad Haziq at 10:22 p.m. on Sunday, about 100 meters away from where he was last seen swimming. The other 2 victims were found between 10 a.m. and 10:52 a.m. today.
Kita percaya bahawa kedua-dua mereka pada hari ini cuba menyelamatkan mangsa yang kita jumpai pada semalam. Kerana kedudukan mangsa tersebut berada tidak jauh antara satu sama lain.
It is understood that their remains were sent to the Tampin Hospital for post-mortem. A man perished in a fire in his house at Jalan Yusof Shabuddin 26, Taman Sentosa, Klang, Selangor at 7:50 a.m. today. The victim was identified as 58-year-old Sang Laiwa. Head of Operations Management at the Selangor Fire and Rescue Station, Ali Madia Bukri, said the victim was believed to have been trapped and rescued by the fire and rescue team, which arrived 9 minutes after receiving a distress call. 13 firefighters with 3 fire engines from the Kota Raja and Andala station successfully extinguished the fire 3 minutes after arriving at the scene. The victim was confirmed to have died at the scene by the staffs of the Tengku Ampuan Rahimah Hospital. The victim's body was handed over to the police for further action. A man died when his car crashed into an ambulance at Jalan Abdul Rahman Parit Raja, Muar, Johor in an incident at 5:30 a.m. today. The victim, identified as 40-year-old Adi Hazli Idris, died at the scene due to severe injuries. Muar District Police Chief ACP Zaruddin Rasib said that the incident occurred when the driver lost control of his vehicle, causing it to enter the opposite lane and crashing into an ambulance. The crash then caused the car to overturn. It is reported that the victim was on his way from Muar to Parit Jawa, while the ambulance was heading towards the Sultanah Fatimah Specialist Hospital from Parit Samsu to send a patient. The ambulance driver, medical assistant and the patient only suffered minor injuries and was sent to the hospital for treatment. The Election Commission EC today clarified that members of the People's Volunteer Corps, RELA, are not allowed to vote by post because they are not in the same category as the Police Volunteer Reserve PVR, who were appointed under Section 35 of the Police Act 1967. EC Chairman Tan Sri Muhammad Hashim Abdullah has denied the allegation by certain quarters claiming that nearly 4 million postal voters, including RELA members, a group which has been mistaken to be categorized under the PVR, will cast their votes in the coming general election. In the announcement dated October 23, 2017, it clearly indicated that only PVR personnel certified by employer that the personnel has to perform duty on polling day will be granted the postal voting facility. According to Tan Sri Muhammad Hashim, the EC has set up several categories of voters who could apply to become postal voters, such as the army and police police personnel. Members of the media, election officers on duty outside of their registered electoral district, overseas voters and spouses, full-time students studying abroad and spouses, and Malaysians who are listed as absent voters are also provided with postal voting facility. Coming up next, Langkawi ferry charge reverts to original price. The Langkawi ferry charge reverted back to its original price following the uproar from passengers who found the ferry fare had been increased by 3 ringgit per passenger on January 1st. The Secretary of the Consumers Association of Kedah, Yusrizal Yusof, welcomed the move, saying that the reduction of the charge from 26 ringgit to the original 23 ringgit will reduce the burden of commuters who travel daily by ferry, as well as maintain Langkawi's status as a popular tourist destination.
Kita Persatuan Pengguna Kedah menyarankan kepada pengusaha-pengusaha feri ini supaya harga untuk tiket manual ni dikekalkan kepada RM23. Sekiranya hendak mempromosikan online, turunkan harga di pembelian secara online. Mungkin kita boleh turunkan kepada RM23 kepada RM20.
Kedah Transportation Committee Chairman Datuk Tajul Urus Mat Zain said it would be wiser for the Marine Department, which imposed the extra charge, to create a public awareness campaign before imposing the hike for over-the-counter purchases. Syarikat Perumahan Negara Berhad SPNB earned 600 million ringgit revenue in profit last year, an increase of 1.3% compared to 2016. Chairman Dr. Abdul Latif Ahmad said the earnings came from the sales of all its affordable home projects at Aspire Residence Cyberjaya and Taman Permai Kita in Gurun, Kedah. The positive outcome meant that, on average, SPNB sold 1.5 million ringgit of houses daily last year, compared to 1 million ringgit to previous year. Added to that, SPNB also plans to build another 15,000 affordable homes this year due to high demand. Dato' Abdul Latif said the houses will be sold below market price, which is about 10 to 15%.
Macam-macam. Umpamanya yang contoh paling mudah, kita dah jual di Laguna Biru ni atas sikit daripada dalam Parlimen Selayang. Kita banner 1,240 unit dengan harga 140 ke 160 ribu ringgit untuk 850 kaki persegi. 3 bilik, 2 bilik air. Sold out.
Dr. Abdul Latif, however, said that 600 of those houses will not be sold at below market price of between 140,000 to 160,000 ringgit due to differences in specifications and model. And that concludes this evening's news on 2. In our top story, almost 3,000 students unable to attend first day of school. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Renee Fong. Thanks for watching and have a pleasant evening.